All right. Morning, everyone. Looks like we're up and running live. Trying to figure out this StreamYard thing. It is very cold this morning, 32 degrees. Not as cold as yesterday. Yesterday was 29 at this time. So can't really see the hillside behind me. It's kind of blown out with the webcam on the computer. But we'll just go ahead and get started this morning. There's a lot of stuff that's been happening lately over here, so we'll like to catch you all up on it. Doesn't look like anybody's joined in yet. I don't know if people will be joining this morning or not. I scheduled this for 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. In early November, we'll be switching over to, let's see, no more daylight savings time for everybody except Arizona. So we'll be a little bit closer in time to our East Coast and Central time zone friends. So it seems like there's a lot more people out in the East than there are out in the West. So it's good to be closer in time. So one of the things that we've got going on this week is, of course, with the freeze. You can see my dog Scout right here. It's cold out here. He's been coming up next to me and staying warm here just over the last minute or so. My sons will be up pretty early, and he'll probably go inside with them when they wake up. But I'm out here because love being outside, even if it's cold. I got to bundle up, but yeah, he's a great farm dog. He's one of the best actually that I've ever seen. We got him when he was 3 months old from the Humane Association, and let's see, there he is. And Scout is he was up at the Coconino Humane Association up in Flagstaff, which is a couple hours away from us, and we actually had an adoption event at Petco. So we went and checked out. Actually, we were there to check out some other cattle dog mix puppies, but he was there, and he's, from what we can tell, he's a Catahoula healer mix. So he's a great farm dog. He's really good with the chickens. He actually does herd them, which is kind of weird, but he's never tried to bite any of them, even when they get real flighty and scared. He's been really good with just being gentle with them because he was raised with them. So that's real good. Our older dog, Kata, she wasn't raised with them, so she's got a little bit more of that tendency to kind of go after them, but she's never been in them either. She's really a good listener. So anyway, that's our dogs. What's been going on here lately with the cold is that we've been taking down the garden. So that has been both sad and very necessary. As many of you know, you gotta take kind of rescue the tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers and squash and all the other stuff that's grown in the garden before it freezes. So we got a nasty freeze yesterday, and all of our grapes, everything that was still leafing out, there's still those tips of the plants that were still growing. They all became like mush. So that part is kind of sad. They didn't have any real cold weather to harden them off right before that. So it's a little bit dramatic, but we got all of our produce in before that happened. except for just a few things. There were a few cucumbers left on the vines, I think, and some other stuff that is very minor. But anyway, there's a real need to get ready. We knew that the frost would be coming in mid-October potentially, and so we decided to take all that down right before it came, and I honestly wish that we would have taken it down a little bit sooner. It was a lot of work all at once, so I prepared to anyway, the other topics I wanted to talk about this morning were about compost, and we've got a video. I already put up one video about a compost trick that I found would work well for me, but another one that we're learning about now is how to insulate and let's see, what's the best word to describe this? I guess tarp your compost piles. There's some real value in doing that, whether you live in a wet or dry area. In the dry area, you want to keep that moisture in, and in the wet areas, you want to keep that moisture out, so you don't want rain to be coming in to your compost and getting it too soggy. But anyway, I see somebody's on here live with us now this morning. We had nobody on for a while, so hey, it's Daz. G'day, Daz. Good to see you as well in our live stream. I got my pup Scout out here with me. You may see him. He's a healer Catahoula mix, from what we can tell. We rescued him, but he's out here with me. It's 32 degrees Fahrenheit out here this morning, which is warmer than it was yesterday. Yesterday was 29 degrees. So it's a good day. If you haven't checked out Daz, his channel is My Aussie Garden and Kitchen. And Daz is frequently on the live streams. So it's good to see you here, Daz. So let's see, what else are we talking about? Compost. Yeah, if you keep the compost tarped, yeah, Daz says, "G'day, Scout." Whoa, chilly, mate. Spring here, so nice and warm. Yeah, so Daz, obviously, with his name of his channel, My Aussie Garden and Kitchen. So he's in Australia, and it's nice and warm down there. We'll enjoy it for the both of us, Daz. For me and Scout, we hope you enjoy that warm day that you got over there. Yeah, so we've been finding out new things about composting, and yeah, one of those is to put tarps over your compost pile, whether it's in a wood bay or whether you have a cover over top of it or whatever. It seems like more the heat is held in, especially at this time of year, and the moisture is held in, and you can just really have it more controlled. It needs to breathe still. That is a big necessity. But if you have it covered even most of the way, it's better from what we've found. It will turn over faster. You don't want it to go anaerobic. That's the one thing. If it gets so soggy and wet and all that, then you got something going on that's wrong. It may be that you have too much moisture in there, or you're not turning it often enough. You don't have enough browns in there. I need to do this homesteading, hashtag homesteading 101 thing, and talk about compost, because there's a lot I've learned over the years, and a lot to share with people. So anyway, that's part of what's been going on here lately. Daz at My Aussie Garden and Kitchen says, "Nice topic. I keep my compost base covered all year with tarps. Just need to make sure I turn it occasionally." Yeah, absolutely. I found if you have the luxury of turning it every couple days, it works really well. And we have a couple of the tumbling composters, those plastic drums that you can spin and it tumbles the compost inside, and those work okay, but it's not enough material from what I found. You need to have at least like a meter by a meter by a meter, or 3 feet by 3 feet by 3 feet. And that's quite a bit of material, more than most of those tumbling composters can hold. But it has to get hot enough in the middle. And that's really where the action is. On the outsides, a lot of it's just a buffer from the exterior. And you do need the airflow, but you absolutely need it to get hot enough inside, and it won't unless you have enough mass. So even a 2 meter by 2 meter by 2 meter pile is probably going to be even better. And the bigger, the better often with the compost piles, but they're harder to turn. You got to have tractors or whatever else to turn them at some point. So just having a pitchfork or whatever isn't going to cut it. So composting is the best thing that we have ever done on our little hobby farm here in Arizona. It is it's amazing what it does for the garden, just adding compost regularly to the beds. So that is a topic I will always talk a lot about. Daz says, I bought a compost thermometer and found that it helps a lot as I can watch the temps and turn when needed. Yep, we have a compost thermometer as well. And it is really helpful, I found, to have that compost thermometer when you have a changing of the seasons. So often you'll get into the rhythm of, okay, it's this wet or dry, it's this hot or cold. And you'll be in the rhythm of turning it, every few days or whatever it is, or every few weeks. And then you'll find out that, hey, something's changed. This isn't working like it used to. And sometimes you need to let it sit for longer. And that's exactly right. Compost thermometer helps a ton to watch the temperatures, especially in those times when the rhythm needs to change a little bit. So good tip there, Daz, for sure. All right, a few other things that are happening right now. So I just started a seed swap. This is a big desire of mine. It has been for a long time. In our town at the farmer's market, they have a seed swap a few times a year. And it's always kind of random what seeds are going to be there, because people drop off their seeds and then they pick up seeds. And you may have dropped some off when, right before somebody else did, and you don't get a chance to pick up their seeds, or vice versa. So it's become very obvious to me that there are so many of us throughout the world that have seed available. And I don't know about shipping seeds to Australia or shipping them from Australia to here, how that all works or what's legal or not. But I do know that there are a lot of people in the States, even 4 hours away from me, that we wouldn't travel to go get 5, 10, 20, 100 seeds from each other, but we could ship them in the mail pretty easily. So I've started this database, and you can go to our About section and you can click on our website. I made it through Weebly or Square, just a free website, but it's actually, you know what? I can share. How do I share my screen here? Let's see if I can share the screen. All right, sharing screen. All right, they're just giving me some tips about sharing the screen. So, all right. Oh, I've got my system preferences all changed here. All right, here we go. I'm gonna share the screen, show you the seed swap here. I don't know if you guys can see this, but hopefully you can. So this is just a little website I built it's called azhighlandhomestead.square.site, and hopefully this is working. Not sure if it is or not. Wow, nice one, Nick. All right, cool. So I think I'm sharing my screen still. I don't know how this StreamYard works, but let's see. Am I still sharing my screen? Nope. Okay, let's see. Let's see if I can share the screen. Sorry, bear with me, everyone. Trying to share the screen here. Let's see. Don't know if it's sharing or not. It doesn't look like it, so that's a bummer. Well, maybe I'll figure that out some other time. But anyway, it looks like we got somebody else on here. Not seeing it at all, mate. All right. Well, thanks, Daz. I appreciate the feedback. Anyway, the site is az-highland-homestead.square.site. And if you go on there, I've got on the home page, there's something that says seed swap, and there's a bunch of seeds in a picture. And next to that, there's a green button that says enter the seed swap. You click that, and it takes you to the seed swap page. And so from there, there's a form on that page, and you can fill it out. And I've got a few parameters of what information was important to me. If there's more information that you can think of that's important for other people, some's required, some is not required. But it basically just puts it into a Google Sheets document, and that one is called Seed Swap Responses. There's a button down on that page a little lower that you can click on to go and view that table. And in that table has the contact information for whoever has seed to share. So that way you can get in contact with whoever has those seeds, and they can send you, I just made it increments of 5, pretty much 5, 10, 20, 50, and 100, I think are the options on there. But I can change all that stuff really easily. I just wanted to get something up so that people could start sharing seeds, because it's something very valuable to us. We have a ton of seeds, both seeds we bought and seeds that we have harvested ourselves. Hey, I believe that's Laura, right? Hedgehog's Homestead. Good morning. It's 32 degrees outside, so I'm a little bundled up. And my dog Scout there, he's going to be let inside here in just a minute by my sons, I think. But he loves hanging out in the cold with me. I'll take him to the park in the morning, and we'll just hang out and drink coffee. If y'all are coffee drinkers, good morning. Biosecurity is pretty harsh in Australia. Yep, I thought so. Yeah, Ireland, that's one thing I studied actually in college, Daz, is about Ireland. What is it called? Oh, now I'm getting too old. I'm forgetting all these terms. But anyway, Ireland biodiversity is a very special thing that can easily be compromised. The islands of Hawaii are a great example of how rats and mongoose and birds and all kinds of disease, mosquitoes and all kinds of things have plagued that island. And it's very important not to bring in stuff from outside to the island population dynamics. It can really hurt the native species. In fact, Hawaii, interesting fact, I lived on Hawaii for 2 different summers, but Hawaii has no snakes. There are no snakes on Hawaii. I think on all the islands, but that may have changed. It's been over 20 years since I lived on Hawaii. All right. So looks like we got 3 people. I see Laura and I see Daz. If you're on the live, leave us a comment. Let us know where you're from. Laura, I forget where you're from. I know Daz is from down under, but where are you from again, Laura? I like to remember. I make maps for my day job, so I'm a geographer, and that's important to me. All right, so got the seed swap up and running, and Oregon, awesome. We were just in Oregon, let's see, a couple years ago, I guess. Anyway, we took a trip up from here to, we went up to Utah, stayed for a little while up in the mountains, and then went up to Boise, and then over to Oregon. And yeah, we were on the Columbia River. It was pretty awesome. So I've got actually quite a few friends in Oregon too. So are you on the eastern part of Oregon or the western part of Oregon? That usually differentiates a lot of the climate and the water and everything. We also home roast our coffee. I don't know if you guys know that about us, but it's kind of like a glorified toaster oven, but it has a rotisserie basket inside, and we buy green beans in bulk, and then we roast them ourselves, and we just get control over that, and we're all about producing the best food possible for us. Suburb of Portland, so west. Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people around that area, that's for sure. I just had a friend from San Diego move up to Salem, so and the rainy part. Yep, it gets a lot of rain up there in Portland. Danielle and I actually met up in Northern California when we were going to college, so we have experienced that rainy, wet weather up in the Pacific Northwest. It was in the redwood region, so lots of redwood trees, and it was right on the coast. So you may know what college we went to if you know that part of the world. So I'm trying to remember what other things I put on the agenda to talk about this morning. Our garden is very vacant right now. We got a lot of seedlings coming up for winter crops, broccoli, and we've got our kale still going, lots of lettuce, and some other winter vegetables. I can't remember right now, but we got lots of stuff coming up. It is a beautiful area for sure. Let's see. Talked about the compost and tarping the compost, and thankful that Daz talked about the compost thermometer. It's super helpful, especially at times like this where the weather's changing, getting colder. Turning it frequently. Let's see what else. I guess I was going to talk about kind of our current situation here. So we're on less than a half an acre. Winter veggies. I know they're coming. It's going to be a lot of salad and broccoli and all kinds of good stuff. Actually, in this area, there's a lot of people that grow broccoli and harvest it for Christmas. So Swiss chard. We do have a lot of Swiss chard. Still have some green beans. We harvested our all of our bean seeds yesterday. Danielle and I were out there together, pulling them off, and we have a whole bunch of beans now for seed for next year and to share. Good morning, Grace Farm from New Mexico. I am staying warm. I've got a lot on here, and my pup Scout over there. He's waiting for our boys to wake up. They should be awake any minute now. They may be sleeping in, but my oldest has an online class he has to get on, so his alarm should be going off, and he's real good about being responsible for himself. So he will be up very soon. Hedgehogs Homestead. Laura says I'm on a quarter of an acre. Yeah, that's awesome. Daz, I forget how big your property is, and Grace Farm, how big is yours? We're on less than a half acre. It's about 4/10 of an acre, and we've got a bunch of fruit trees. So I think we've got 10 fruit trees now, if I remember correctly, and some of them have produced fruit, but they're all kind of still small. Still, we got them shipped bare root, most of them. We got a few of them locally, but we've got our orchard there, and then we've got a 32-foot by 16-foot garden bed. Daz on a half an acre. Yeah, it's amazing what you can grow in a small space. I'm super surprised with how much food we've been able to grow this year. You don't need much, right? It's pretty amazing. If you want to grow all of your food and be truly self-sustainable, you would need a little bit more probably, but we can grow a lot of food in a 32-foot by 16-foot area. We've grown a ton this year, so it's been real good. I am in Arizona, and Grace Farm said they're in New Mexico. 2 acres, still work in progress. That's a good size. We have a lot of properties around here that are 2 acres, some that are up to 5-10 acres, and then big ranches. There's some that are for sale. They're a lot bigger. Whoa, you've got 160 acres in Tennessee and you're trying to sell? That would be great. 160 acres. Well, we could all live there and grow our own food. No, it just depends on what you're growing, really, and how productive the land is, right? So we've made our 32 by 16 garden bed very, very productive. So it's producing a lot of food right now. Last year it did not. So we would need a lot more space if we had that kind of fertility like we had last year. But yeah, we've had a good case for just improving the soil and not needing to grow on more. It's just good to be able to manage it. Call our house. We're trying to sell her house to get there. Got it. Autocorrect problems. Trying to sell our house to get over to 160 acres. Yep, I hear you. Well, I hope you're able to do that and do it soon. It'd be good. So we've got a kind of future possibility coming up. My parents are aging and they need care. They need us to be there on site, and they live only 10 minutes down the road, so it's pretty easy for us to help out there right now. But they're starting to have some issues where they need us within shouting distance. So we're trying to find a place to have 2 houses on one property. That would be ideal. And right now there aren't a whole lot on the market right now in our price range, but there are some that have some acreage. So we may be moving on to some bigger acreage here in the next, year or 2, but we'll see. It would be really nice if we could move to a place where we could have some ruminants and they could eat and trample the land, and then we can move chickens behind them. We've got some experience with chickens in our chicken tractor, and we'd like to do that more often and have more chickens and meat birds. And so we're thinking about in 2 to 4 sheep, probably moving them daily, and then having chickens move behind them. Laura from Hedgehog's Homestead says, yeah, if you manage your soil in succession, so that I do know you can get a lot out of the garden. I'm a tiny little space right now because I don't have a lot of light in my backyard. Yep. Hey, Tim. Howdy. Good morning to you. And cheers to all you guys. I got my coffee here. It's 32 degrees out right now, and Scout wants to be let inside. You know what? Let me let him inside right now in case my sons aren't gonna wake up and get him. You want to go inside? All right. Well, Scout loves being outside with me. In fact, he was jumping all over me when he realized I was going to head out here. But so much better to be outside than to be inside, in my opinion. All right. Everybody saying hello to one another. That's great. Yeah, he did want to go in, Daz. And I think that he was hoping that I was going to the park or something, because we meet up with people sometimes and drink coffee out in the park. And he knows we do that more often when it's cold than when it's hot. Laura says, yeah, we've done corners cross and chicken tractor in our backyard on the grass. Kind of ruined our grass, but we put a lot of meat away. That's awesome. We'd love to do that. Our land is a little bit sloped for what we would like to do, but we do run our layers on all of the cover crop that we've seeded and what's been planted, and the fertility has improved so much. It's just amazing. When we moved here, it was all kind of just rocks and there wasn't much. There were a few native plants that were grown here, but not much. And now there's a whole lot. So the plants have put down roots, and those roots have added carbon to the soil, and there's a ton of life in the soil now, whereas before there wasn't a whole lot. So it really is worthwhile. And again, those chickens on the land too, they add a lot of fertility as well, which increases the plant growth and increases the roots, and increases the carbon in the soil, and allows more plants to grow, and so on and so forth. So we've really invested a lot here on our small, less than half-acre property, and it's paid off just in the 2 years that we've been here. So if you're patient and just give it even a few years, it definitely improves. So yeah, we're looking to put some sheep on some land. There are quite a few people that raise sheep here, and then we could get the chickens behind them, and Danielle would like to actually do some market gardening where we're growing in some greenhouses as well. So we found a way to get greenhouses for cheap or for free, and we'll be sharing that in an upcoming video. That is a secret that we thought was horrible that people were keeping away, but we've got just dot our I's and cross our T's, make sure that it's everything we think it is before we start sharing it, and don't want to share any misinformation. I guess that's the point. But we have some people that let us know about this program that we could be a part of, and maybe get greenhouses for very low cost or for free, depending on our qualifications and what we plan to do with those greenhouses. So Tim, where are you located? I can't remember. I think I saw you maybe say in the chat that where you're from, but I can't place where you're from. So thanks for joining the chat, everyone. I really appreciate it, and it's good to know where all you are from and what you grow too. If you grow vegetables, what kind, and if you grow any animals for meat, what kind there as well. We have 10 layered chickens and 2 dogs and 32 by 16 foot garden bed where we grow all kinds of vegetables, and 10 trees in our orchard that produce fruit. Tim is in the Ozarks of Arkansas. So Ozarks of Arkansas. I just had a friend who moved out to Bentonville, Arkansas. How close to Bentonville are you, Tim? Because I believe that's in the Ozarks, isn't it? It's up in the northwest corner of Arkansas, if I remember correctly. I'm a geographer, so I have to know all these details. So thanks for bearing with me on that. Yeah, so let's see. What else do we have here? We got lots of berries and vines and things like that too. So that's some other stuff that we're growing. But we could grow a lot more. We could even put a greenhouse on this property. We still have land that we haven't done a whole lot with yet, besides just improve the fertility of the native soil. So we could live here for a long time and produce a lot more food than we are currently. But that's what we're doing right now, and we're learning some of the things that we're learning that we're not good at yet, but we'd like to get really good at are food preservation and seed saving. So I was talking earlier about how we have created a seed swap on our website. az-highland-farms.square.site is the website. We've got an ambulance going by. I'm sure that you can hear that. It's somewhat loud, but we live near it's not a very busy road, but it's one of the more main roads here nearby Prescott, Arizona. So there's traffic that's going in from the neighboring town into Prescott, and so we get some some loud traffic sometimes. But yeah, we're trying to learn food storage, and Northwest Arkansas is crazy expensive now. Yep. I'm a mountain biker, so I ride my bicycle on the trails often. I always have. It's what I do for exercise. Besides all the stuff that we do around here, that's a lot of work too. But there is a race coming up in Northwest Arkansas called what is it called? The Oz Trails Race. Anyway, it's a trail race in Bentonville, and I know that a lot of people, including my friend from San Diego, he moved there because those trails are so great for mountain biking. So that's probably part of it. I know that's where Walmart headquarters are as well. So they've put a lot of money into those trails, which is kind of cool. But yeah, it is causing that area to really blow up. That's for sure. Lots of people are moving there. Lots of people are moving here too. So one of the reasons why there are so many people, Tim says, I ride a motorcycle. Awesome. Yep. Mine, I am the motor for my bike. But there are a lot of e-bikes and stuff out there now. So a lot of people are riding those. But one of the interesting facts about our part of Arizona is it is the closest place to Southern California that is out of state and not in the desert. So we are technically in the high desert, but we're up in the pines. So there are pine trees and forests up here, and there are a lot of people who love the mountains in California and all of the pine trees and stuff there. So they love that, but a lot of people are getting out of California. It's pretty oppressive with the taxes and all that. As many of you have known, there's lots of businesses leaving California. Lots of my friends have moved there, even small businesses out of California, because it's been so oppressive with the taxes. So, and there's other things too, but yeah, there's a lot of retired people that have moved here from California. So the culture is kind of changing here, and it is very expensive here now as well. We were looking at a property that had 2 houses on it. Actually, one was a small cabin, like 700 square feet, and it was on less than 2 acres. And it wasn't a new house. It was built in the 90s. The cabin was from the 1930s. And the house is going for $1.1 million on, what was it, an acre, 1.25 acres, I think. Not very usable land, rocky, and not what we're looking for. But yeah, $1 million for an acre with a house and a 700 square foot cabin on it. So it's getting pricey here. But we're thankful that we purchased this house and don't have much debt besides our mortgage. So that's a good thing. Laura at Hedgehog's Homestead says, yeah, my daughter and son live there. It's crazy expensive. They live in the LA Hollywood area. Yeah, it's crazy. There's a lot of stuff that's really expensive. So, food and other things are really expensive too. But one of the things that we have made the decision to do is with our money, we don't invest too much in this house here. This house is pretty humble and small. We're not on even a half acre, but it's enough land where we can grow our own food, and that's kind of our priority. Small house, bigger space for growing food and all that. And it's because finding good food is really tough. I don't know if that's a priority of all of you, but it is a huge priority for my wife and I. We have always felt that way since before we even got married, that good food is worth spending lots of money on. And we really have gotten to the point where we realize that there are some really good foods out there, but they're not necessarily local, and they probably aren't grown quite as well as we could grow them. And so that's one of our big reasons for starting this channel, joining this community, and really just trying to learn more every day. So yeah, we're trying to learn food preservation right now, seed saving stuff, and also what we could do with different pieces of land here, what we could do with different watering situations too. That's one of the things that I learned a lot about when we moved here was rainwater harvesting and storage. And we don't have a really great system right now. It's pretty good. And we have about 500 gallons of storage. So that's been pretty good. But it isn't enough. It's like, it never feels like it's enough out here in the arid West. I mean, we're in the high desert, and as much water as we can collect, we can't store it enough because we get big rains, big monsoonal rains that dump all at once. I mean, we had a 4-inch storm that came through in, I want to say, 2 or 3 hours. So more than an inch an hour for 2 or 3 hours. And I mean, our garage was flooding out. We were having erosion problems on our property, and all of our rainwater storage was just constantly overflowing. And it made me desire to have, 10,000 gallons of storage instead of just the 500 gallons that we have. But it's not cheap, and we got to prioritize things. So it'd be really nice to just throw a ton of money at water storage and infrastructure and greenhouses and all kinds of stuff. But yeah, it's our priority is on food. Laura says we can find good food here in the suburbs of Portland, right? But it's very expensive. Yep, absolutely. It's kind of a losing battle sometimes when you pay so much for that food, and especially when you realize that you could be growing it yourself. It's pretty hard to stomach that kind of cost sometimes. And when the food isn't as good of quality as you can grow yourself, and you're paying through the nose for it, it's hard. But man, what are you going to do if you can't grow all your food for the year? You got to buy food from somewhere, and for us, buying the best food possible is worthwhile. Yeah, we get a lot of rain here, but not at all at once, just every day. Yeah, I don't know what I would prefer, Laura. I've lived in the Pacific Northwest. I've lived in Hawaii. I've lived in some very rainy places, right? And it is nice to have steady rain every day. Like in Hawaii, we had a catchment system that was built onto the back of the house, and it was underneath the roof of the house. So stuff couldn't get in there. It was all screened off, so rats and other animals couldn't get in there. But it was probably only maybe a couple thousand gallons of storage because they got rain so often in Hawaii. And it worked out great for us. And you could truck in water if you had a dry spell or whatever, of course. But I really like living in the arid Southwest. And somebody was asking me on one of the live chats last night if we've thought about moving. Who was that? I forget whose live stream that was. But we have considered moving because it's so pricey here. So if we sold our place, we wouldn't be able to buy a property that has more land with the equivalent home. It just wouldn't. It'd be a trade, right? It'd be, this one for that one kind of thing. And the prices of houses in the same community cost, just as much relatively. So it's not like we can trade up, but we could if we moved out to where Tim's from, in Arkansas perhaps, or Missouri, or some of these other places that so many of our Homestead family are from. And it'd be pretty cool to have water, but you know what? You got humidity and a lot more bugs and all kinds of plants to deal with that are growing everywhere. And some of that stuff is there's some pros and some cons, but it sure would be nice to have irrigation from the sky, so to speak, on a regular basis that's spread out. So, but I love their dryness. I love the cold too. I couldn't live down in Phoenix where it gets to 120 in the summer. It's nice there right now and in the winter, but I like the cold. I really appreciate it. Can't grow as much stuff when it gets cold. Everything slows down, right? But it's pretty enjoyable here. I think I just need some more rainwater storage and to be able to irrigate more stuff. So let's see, what other topics did I have in the discussion here? I don't remember, or in the description rather. We've got plans this winter to be putting up more compost bins. I can't have enough places for the compost to pile up. Tim says, yes, Arkansas is very popular. I have 13 acres on a hilltop cliff. Oh, wow. Well, I'd love to check out how that works for you on a hilltop cliff. We've got a slope. It's not very steep. It's just kind of a gradual slope, and we've terraced it off a little bit. But 13 acres. That's a good amount of land. We'd love to have 5 to 10 acres. I think that would be pretty ideal for us here. Might be able to irrigate it even, which would be good. We've got lots of other projects I need to get to. I have a bench build video that was actually pretty popular. It's called the Aldo Leopold style bench, and it's using 2x6s to build the bench. And they're great benches. I built 2 of them. But here in Arizona, we're about a mile high, 5,500 feet or so. And we're so close to the sun, and the Arizona sun, it just weathers stuff so fast. Everybody's painting their houses and all of their outdoor stuff every single year to just keep ahead of the sun tearing apart stuff. And those benches, I already need to refinish them, and I just built them last year. So that is another project that we've got going on. This deck also needs to be refinished. I don't know if you can see that, but I got lots of those maintenance things to do. I'd much rather build more compost bins and another big terrace for a garden and place for our greenhouse and all that kind of thing. Tim says there's a horseshoe-shaped 35-foot cliff overlooking a river. Not all my land is usable. That sounds pretty awesome, though. 35-foot cliff overlooking a river. Michelle Darby. Hey, welcome, Michelle. I feel like the only one on the East Coast. I'm in southern New Jersey. We have 6.5 wooded acres, learning about how to grow some food and care for our wildlife. That's awesome. Bends over acres. Hi, Nick. Hi, Barb. Good to have you. Appreciate you being here. Michelle. Wooded acres. I've learned actually a lot about how people manage wooded acres, and we do have some pines here. We're in Arizona, but we're up at 5,500 feet, so we've got some pines, and it's a delicate balance between keeping the wooded acres and having some area to grow food on, right? You want to get the sunlight in there and be able to grow some food, but you want to care for the wildlife too. And Laura's saying hi to Michelle and hi to Barb. That's awesome. It's a it's a delicate balance there, and I have seen a lot of people treating the wooded acres in different ways. Some like to keep it thick and save that area for later. Some like to chop a lot of it down and have a big open area for growing vegetables and food. And some like to just keep the trees spread out. And there's pros and cons to all of it, really, it seems like. So, yeah, there's Dad saying hello to everyone. Yeah, it'd be fun to have some wooded acres. We do have some pine trees. You guys probably can't see them real well, but they're up on this hill over here, across the way from us. There's a creek that runs down along the road that we're on here, and that creek is 90% of the time dry, and it's usually just kind of a big ditch for the monsoonal rains to flow down when there's 4 inches of rain coming in one afternoon, which is kind of what we get here. So actually, you can see, I didn't realize this. I gotta remember which side's which. So right here is our downspout. So that connects into the rain barrels I'm sitting right by. I'm actually sitting right on top of where all of our rain storage is. But yeah, our gutters, they're along this eave here, and then they come down this spout and then down into the pipe there, and then the pipe, it's a wet pipe system, which means that the pipes down below where they enter into our tops of our barrels are wet all the time. They're full of water, and we actually found that we need to drain those out because they grow some really weird, like big, like a huge film of, I guess it's like all the way around inside the pipe, algae, and that can clog up our pipes even, because it is really thick algae, and it's just like a sheet that ends up in the pipes. So it's kind of crazy. Yeah, hardwoods. I would prefer to have hardwoods than conifers on whatever piece of land I'd have, Tim. I think that's some people would debate either way, I suppose, but hardwoods are nice, right? In the winter, they lose their leaves and the sun can kind of shine through still. And there's lots of great use for hardwood, that's for sure. For pines and firs, it's a little bit different, but yeah, it is crazy. Rainwater collection, it's a crazy thing. There's a lot to do with it. And we're still learning a lot. So appreciate all you guys joining us along our journey as we figure stuff out, figure out what works. We do a lot of research, but as you well know, you can't substitute experience. It's just something that builds wisdom more than anything else. So we are often learning the hard way with a lot of things. Yeah, Rebecca Davis, this is your first live with us. Well, welcome. We appreciate you being here. It was 32 degrees. I think it's warming up a little bit over here. Right now, it's almost 8 a.m. over here in Arizona, and we don't have daylight savings, so we will continue to stay on this time throughout the year. So as you guys get off daylight savings time, we'll be on the same time, and yeah, it's fun to do these lives. So hopefully we'll be able to do them on Thursday mornings. Do we have a first flow filter? We have a first flow diversion. Yeah, it's not actually a filter. It's where all of our sediment from our roof goes into. So it's really just a first flow catch. So it's probably like a foot, 18 inches long on the pipes. And you know what? I don't have them on every gutter, and I should. So that's one thing that we need to upgrade as well. Thanks for asking about that, Barb. That's an important thing for rainwater harvesting, is that first flow filter or first flow catch, where it catches the sediment that comes off of the roof before it goes into the tanks. And we just use all the rainwater for our garden. We don't use it for watering our animals or anything like that. Actually, Scout does drink out of the tanks sometimes. He can reach the stock tanks. We have a video about rainwater harvesting with stock tanks. If you search YouTube, it should be one of the first ones that comes up. But we've used 100-gallon stock tanks and connected them all. They have a outflow at the bottom, and we've connected them all with PVC. So it's like a manifold of 100-gallon tanks. And anyway, Scout can just barely, he actually hops up and drinks out of them sometimes, which is not good for dogs. We need to make sure we get some covers on there. That was another project we wanted to do. Rebecca Davis says, I'm doing great. So glad to be here. Yeah, we're glad to have you, Rebecca. Let us know what part of the world you live in and what kind of property you have, what kind of things that you're interested in learning or growing or whatever it is that you might be interested in. Laura from Hedgehog's Homestead says, hello, Rebecca Davis. How are you doing today? And then Daz from My Aussie Garden and Kitchen says, good day, Rebecca Davis, and welcome to the discussion. Awesome. Thanks for being so welcoming, everyone. I appreciate that. I'll probably Columbia, Missouri. Well, that's awesome, Rebecca. We've looked at Missouri. We were talking about that earlier, just about how if we sold our property here in Arizona, we could probably buy something somewhere else in the country, but we can't really do any kind of upgrade if we sold our place here. But we may be going in on a place with my parents. We'll see. If that's the case, we might be able to get a bigger property where we can graze some sheep and have the chickens follow behind in a tractor and have some greenhouses and do some market gardening and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of our vision and goals for the future. But we plan to stay here in Arizona in the central Highlands of Arizona, which is how we got the name for our homestead, Arizona Highland Homestead. We're up in the Highlands, so about 5,500 feet up. We've got pine trees and we have cactus. So that's what the Highlands are all about here. And it's cold, 32 degrees this morning. So I've only got a few more minutes before I got to go to my day job. But Rebecca says, I have a lot of clay soil where I live, trying to figure out what I can grow here and be more self-sufficient. Well, Rebecca, I've taken a bunch of soils classes in college, so hit me up anytime you have a question. You can even email us, highlandhomesteading@gmail.com is our email address. We're also on Instagram and Facebook, so you can message us through there as well. Actually, Southern Roots just... what's her name? Sherry. She just messaged us through Facebook and has us scheduled for November 8th to be on a live with her talking about gluten-free diets. And my wife Danielle and I have been gluten-free for about a decade. Well, she has. I've cheated, but it's good for reducing inflammation. If you guys aren't aware of gluten-free, I think it's not the wheat. I think it is the I always say this wrong, glyphosate, the Roundup that is in most wheat out there. So we're all about being organic and living with the natural world to build a better ecosystem to grow our own food in and being sustainable. We've got praying mantis and lots of birds and ladybugs and all kinds of lizards and snakes and all kinds of things in our garden. And although snakes are not Danielle's favorite thing to find when she's stepping through the garden, it's really there's our dog Kata. She's finally awake. Good morning, Kata. She's a cattle dog border collie mix that we rescued. She's a great dog. She just wants me to pet her. Anyway, gluten-free is good. Let's see. Everybody's talking about clay soil. Michelle says we're also dealing with clay soil. Daz says I went from clay at my old property to sand here on an inland island. Such a huge difference. No matter what kind of soil you have, you can improve it. You can grow stuff in it. It just takes more effort, more outside materials, more time to build it into a fertile growing medium. So I'm serious. Hit me up if you have any soil questions. I can really help out. But there's also some soil scientists that can do either come to your property and analyze your soil for you, or you can send soil samples off and they can recommend different amendments and things like that for your soil. It's an important thing to do. And there's one of my sons poking his head out this morning. That's Noah. Say good morning, Noah.
Morning.
Noah's got to get going on his online class this morning. But the clay soils can be really tough. We have a lot of clay here, actually. We got clay and rock, and then we have some sand as well. It's kind of mixed in different pockets of different stuff. But anyway, I'd hate to give recommendations without knowing how your clay is, how deep it is. If it's a hard pan, you may want to look up what a hard pan is. Dad says, yep, get that compost happening. Absolutely. Compost is the best thing. It is gold for your property, and you can grow it yourself. Black gold. Yeah, Iowa. Yeah, you can really grow that soil well. So there's Scott again. He's going out with Kata. Michelle says, we're going to work with raised beds. And, oh, yeah, I don't know how to say that word, but I know that that's like burying wood, right? Letting it decompose as you grow on top of it. Good day, Daz. I don't know if you're still on or not, but anyway, yeah, Michelle, I've heard good stuff about burying wood and growing in it. In fact, if you can get wood chips from arborists, they're often free. They're looking to dump them on wherever they can. We just got a huge pile ourselves, and we're using it mostly as mulch, like in our pollinator plants, flower beds around our 32 by 16 foot garden that we've terraced off. It's kind of like a raised bed. We've got concrete blocks all around it. So it's pretty much like a raised bed. But if you can get those wood chips, they will add fertility to your land right away. You were saying hello to my son. Got it. Yep. Yeah, I wondered because I thought I remembered that G'day was only used as a welcome and not like aloha, right? A lot of people think it's like aloha, where it's like hello and goodbye and all that. But anyway, thanks for the education, Daz. We appreciate it. So yeah, wood chips often can help out your soil, just leaving them on the land, which sounds crazy, but if you've ever had a wood chip pile and you look underneath it for any amount of time, if it's been a few days, if it's been a few weeks, a few years, you'll see that there's decomposition happening at the level of the soil. Look, Daz is an expert at the I'm not even going to say the word because I know I will butcher it. I have ancestors from the region of the world where that word is from, but I don't know how to say it. Is it German? I want to say it's a German word, but anyway, I know what it is, and Daz is an expert, so we'll hit him up if we have any specific questions about it. So yeah, wood chips, but compost, like Daz was saying, and you can use wood chips to compost as well. Yeah, hit me up if you guys have any soil questions. I'm not the best expert, but I do have some formal education in rangeland and woodland soils. Hugelculture. 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 All right, that's not so hard. Hugelculture. All right, I'll try to remember that, Des. It's German. All right, got it. Yeah, so look at that. Laura from Hedgehog's Homestead is also using hugelculture. Well, it's very popular, I guess. Yeah, I just grow compost as much as I can, and I amend the soils here. We've used a lot of gypsum for our clays here. You guys may have heard about that, but yeah, gypsum can help, but it just really is specific on your type of soil, how much clay you have, how what type of loam it is. Loam is a soil mixture, really. So you can have sand, silt, and clay. Those are the three major types of soil particles, I guess. And they can vary in size and chemistry and physiology, I guess, physics. So physics, biology, and chemistry are all part of soil biology and management. So it's good to remember those things. You need air spaces, and you need structure. You need carbon. You need biological activity. You need chemistry going on. So Laura from Hedgehog's Homestead says, I have put wood chips and in all my beds, my flower beds, and I also put wood chips under my chickens and rabbits and ducks, turkeys. They add their manure. It makes great garden compost. Yes, you need lots of nitrogen if you're putting wood chips in compost, and you get a lot of that from manure from chickens, rabbits, ducks, turkeys. Yeah, all that. It's awesome when you see all that stuff working together, and then you have some really good compost. So I think I'm going to do a homesteading 101, that hashtag that's going around right now on composting and soil health. And it'll be a 101, so it'll be very basic kind of stuff, but I think that would be a good one. I got to run too, Tim. See you later, Tim. It was good getting to know you a little bit more, and have a great day out there in Arkansas. And I got to get to work too, folks. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, I'm Nick from Arizona Highland Homestead, and we'll have some more videos for you real soon. Bye, everyone.